Hello. Welcome to Leap Taken. This is Mika, and here at Leap Taken, I talk about all things witchy, craft related, law of attraction, manifesting, esoteric, and everything else in between. And today I'm going to talk about traditions, setting up traditions in your practice. And this is something where I'm going to be writing some things out and then I'm going to transfer it to my book of shadows. So that's pretty much the video. But I'm going to be talking about the importance of having this type of structure in your spiritual system. This video is definitely for people who, like in one of my previous videos I mentioned, who are struggling with, okay, you got all these tools, you went and got tarot cards, you got the crystals, you got the sage, you got the Palo Santo, you got specialty paper, you got all these candles, candle holders, incense. But, when things get tough, you don't know what to do. Do you cast a spell? What if you don't feel like casting a spell? What if you're in a very negative place? What if you're angry? What if you're very sad? Those sort of things will trigger needing to have some sort of structure in your spiritual path. At least they do for me. So what I'm getting into right now is the nitty gritty of that. So stay with me because I'm going to be posting a lot of videos kind of on this theme of developing a spiritual practice. This book by Melanie Marquise was a game changer for me. The Witch's Bag of Tricks, Personalize Your Magic and Kickstart Your Craft. Now, I know for a fact the cover doesn't look like this anymore, so I don't know the deal with that, but they've changed the cover. You can find this on Amazon. I'll have a link for you. But this is something that I purchased some time ago, and it really changed it. It's it says first edition, third printing 2016. So that's the copyright information. So kind of gives you an idea. But this book definitely, if you are the type of person, you kind of need to know the why. Why is this working? How does that work? So I light a candle, and how is that going to make me, fall in love? Or how is that going to make me move across the country? This book, as you can see, it's like I really reference this book quite often in my practice because it's that good. It's that interesting. It's honestly challenging and also rewarding because it made me fall in love with my craft. It made me see that there is a way for me to practice my magic, basically do witchcraft. However, I also get the benefits of, I guess the big three religions, not comparing it, but my spiritual system helps me so that I am also able to, face the tough times, face the sad times, and also where to give the proper gratitude for the good times, because that's a whole other thing. So that's a lot, I understand, but let me get to just the small part, not small, but one part. And that's a section, it's like mapping. This whole section, I love it because it's like a template for how you can do all those things I just said. So traditions for your tradition. So whatever your tradition is, your spirituality or your craft, what is that? Path do you follow? If you're not sure, stick with me, like I said, and we're gonna build that. I have a video where I talked about building traditions. I'm gonna do an extensive video sort of like this, and you'll see how I map it all out and set up the template. But for now, I'm gonna set up a tradition. So what type of traditions do you want? I think traditions are super important in your craft because they are grounding. They help you going forward. They help you with having something to look forward to that's outside of capitalism, hopefully, and Christian-based holidays. Let's just be honest. Even though we understand that a lot of the Christian-based holidays that we celebrate are rooted in paganism. Even with that being said, and that's fine if those are your traditions, by the way, but traditions work a little bit differently as well. I mean, they could be you can consider them holidays. I probably jumped the gun on saying that. But you can customize certain traditions. So let me just get into it. So like over here, this is the framework, and this is what I'm going to base from. So I'm going to, do this for me, for so my tradition or my path is cottage witchery. Okay. So this is my thing. This is what I do. I'm all about the cottage witchery. So I got that written down. All right. So special days in my life, it give anniversaries, spiritual accomplishments, anniversaries of personal accomplishments, deities, magical powers, forces, nature, aspects I honor, people, animal, or places I want to honor. This tradition will commemorate in the date, mood, tone of this tradition, what this tradition entails, special activities to include, special items to include. It's just a framework. And you can use something already you may already be doing or not. And it's just a tradition. It's something, and this is just like I said, the framework on how how you're going to celebrate it. What are you going to do? How are you commemorating this tradition? So for me in cottage witchery, one of the traditions that and tradition, it's kind of almost like ritual, I know, but stay with me. And by the way, these things can be formal and informal. They even talk about it here, but it's like special times and events that you want to commemorate, like anniversaries and things like that. That's basically what it is. If you don't know the day when you became a witch, you can create the day. So for me, it's going to be just a celebration of cottage witchery, being a cottage witch. So that special day, I'm marking it, by the way, is going to be, I prefer, I'm going to go ahead and set it up for June. I think it's going to be the summer solstice. Not I think, I know it's going to be the summer solstice. I also want that to tie into my celebration of being a cottage witch. Did I become a cottage witch on that day? No, but that's the day I would like to commemorate it. See, that's the thing. I need to, I want to, I need to, but I want to make this a tradition. So I don't have an exact date, but that's the date I'd like. So I'm going to say the day I became a cottage witch. Now remember, I don't know the exact day. This is why I'm doing this. You can do this, set this up for yourself like this. So if you're not sure, when did I officially become a witch? Pick a date. Just pick a date. Pick something. Anniversary of spiritual accomplishment. So this is my thing. So this is going to be like an anniversary, by the way. So I'm counting this as an anniversary because I don't have an official date. I just don't. And we're going to make this on June 21st of every year. And any specific deities, magical powers, forces, nature, aspects that I honor. So it is going to be the summer solstice. So definitely, well, I know I'm bringing Oshun into this. Magical powers. Any specific magic? No, I'm going to, but I know I want fire element. For sure. Sun energy. I should get a solar. Sun energy. So definitely that. And natures of aspect that I honor. So, at this point, I'm going to say water for sure. Also the water element because it's the summer and it's going to be super hot. And I will find value in honoring water this time. Okay, so people, animals, or places I want to honor. So, places I want to honor. I'm just going to write this out here. To honor. And I'm going to say my home. So, this will be taking place on my property. Okay, so there's that. There's no specific animals or my home and myself. Let me write that down. Okay, so tradition. This tradition will commemorate. So I already kind of cheated, but commemorate. Yeah, commemorate. Okay, there we go. All right. Mood, tone of this tradition. So what's the mood? What's the tone of this tradition? So for me, it's going to be informal, because my cottage witchery is informal tone. Or I should say mood, informal mood. The tone is basically going to be, very cottage core, for lack of better words, but homey feeling. Because I'm gonna be cooking and doing a whole thing. Okay, so I got that. So, let me write that down. So, what this tradition, oh, well, I'm getting to that part. So, what does this tradition entail? That's the next part. So, what does this, it's going to entail? Ugh, my allergies are getting to me. Sorry if I sound a little not good. I had all the windows open. I was doing like massive house cleaning. Because it needed to be done, spring cleaning. So, floors and everything else, I'm not even done. But anyway, that's me. So, what it entails is going to be cooking, a summer dish for sure. It's going to entail, saging, cleansing, purifying. So that might require some actually physical cleaning as well, or floor wash and that sort of stuff. Okay, so it's very domestic cottage witchery. At least for me, that's how I practice it. I mean, I'm in the home. It's all about home. Burning incense, and those incense will be for the purpose of cleansing, purifying, and so forth, and putting kind of attracting certain types of energy as well. So there's that. And I'm also going, oh, so this is, remember, it's, yes, me the cottage witch, but I'm in my home, so that's why this kind of looks like this. So lighting candles to commemorate commemorate being a cottage witch. Okay, so I have that. All right, so then the other type of thing that I'm gonna want to celebrate outside of doing that is music. I'm gonna want to have some music and use it to raise energy for sure, and dance for sure, because it's a celebration, it's a happy, and witchy cocktails for sure, because it's a celebration. And then a burning of intentions. So like a piece of paper, and I'll create a fire, because it's a fire and so forth. And the witchy cocktails will tap into the water element. So this is pretty much loosely what it entails. Special activities to include, that's on the list here. I'm kind of putting all this in here. Special items to include. I'll be able to get from this. So special items are going to be obviously, candles. Ooh, all right now, girl, spell candles. Get it together. Candles, incense. I feel like I already have these things, so it's, but I'm going to write it out. Incense, sage stick. The food is going to be a whole other thing, because I'll need to figure out what it is I'm making. I don't want to tie it that close, like, oh, I have to make this certain dish. I mean, I could, but I'm a witch who likes a little bit of variety, so maybe not so much. So music, my cauldron, and paper. And same for the witchy cocktails. I'll know when I know which one I'll make. I have a whole book. I'll look into that. I'll get to that part anyway. But this loosely is it. So, this is basically, just scratching it out on a piece of paper. This is what I got. So, let's get this a little bit more prettier, and I'll put this in my grimoire. This is real for me. Colorful stickers and different color inks. This is more of my speed. By the way, this says focus on gratitude, focus on wellness. And like I said, that says beautiful. So I'm just popping some extra things in here that keep in line with the intention and the mood of, what I'm doing here. But this is, basically something I'm creating. Find joy today, it says. This is something I'm creating as, just noting my tradition. This is one of my traditions. This is an anniversary that I'm doing. These things seriously matter. And you know what? Take it seriously in the same way you take your birthday, wedding anniversaries, and so forth. This is a big deal. You make it as big a deal as you want. Now, for me, like I said, it's it's sort of informal. Informal meaning, they're like, people could be in my house and they won't realize, that I'm maybe doing all this for that purpose, and that's okay. I don't mind that. Um, but I know I'm doing it, and that's all that matters. And you kind of got to get like that when it comes to your spells and, the work that you do. As long as don't worry if everybody else hasn't figured out just how powerful you are. That's not important. It's not, seriously, it's not important. What's important is that you know you're powerful and that your spells are working and you have something to celebrate. That's what's important. Don't go down a rabbit hole of thinking all this other stuff. I tell you, it's not worth it. And you end up feeling kind of sucky about everything. So, because things really work out, the way you build it up in your head, especially if you're being, not really realistic about everything, just saying. So, keep that in mind. Keep that in mind before you, start coming up with these crazy ideas of, what you think it should look like and in your book and all that sort of stuff. Sometimes it's just a bunch of stickers, markers, and so forth. And if you like it, then that's all that matters. And that's kind of how I love this, by the way. I love the homey touch of it. It fits everything that I'm talking about. And I have written down, my tradition. So this is now in the book. This is something that I will do. June 21st, this is what I'm celebrating. I give myself lots of room. Now, what I'll most likely do over on this page is I can write down, the recipes and all that sort of stuff that I'm going to use, the cocktails, in case I'd like to make it a year, an annual thing that I make that same dish. Who's to say? I don't know, but I'd like that flexibility of having it. I'll leave this blank until I get to this point. I won't know until I get closer to that date, June 21st. And then I'll know, how I want to do things here. And I'll just, take a lot of the colors and stuff and put those here and write out the recipes and so forth and so on. And, I'll have 2 pages here based on, my Cottage Witch anniversary. So the importance of building a tradition, yes. I think it's super important because I think that it helps with bracketing your tradition, your path, that tradition. It helps with bracketing that. It gives you something to look forward to. It helps fill in the why. Why am I doing this? Taking time to do these things. Why do you think the other religions do that? Not saying that it's a religion that I'm practicing, but why do you think that they follow, those days are so important to do certain things? It's to keep you aligned in that. And I'm basically saying do the same thing for yourself. It's okay if you're starting from scratch. It really is.